Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakudash, Devons, to the apostles, elders, and grand millstones, salutation to the brothers who's pushing this word in truth and sincerity and charity, and vision allows them freedom to do so. As a buddy on the guy comes from the millstone, Chicago camp, to match when not lesson, Lord is edifying. Quick scripture today. The Lord ain't doing with these heathens, man. All right, and they, as much as they want to, they have nothing to do with the scriptures, man. All right, because the law, statutes, and commandments, was only written for us, Yasharala, Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. This word, these law, statutes, and commandments were given to the heathen, man. The scripture says it, man. This is what makes us a wise and understanding nation, a wise and understanding people, you know. And talking to my coworkers, man, the other night, and then I was talking to one Edomite, and then Jake mentioned that the Edomite is a minister. And he laughed, like he busted out laughing, to the spirit, because he ain't fucking with it. I told him little gems here and there, his ass going off, but uh, I never broke bread with the Edomite, none, but um, or with Jake, but Jake know he an Israelite, but he confused, all the wine bottom, you know, um. Jake just started laughing. Jake started laughing, you know, jokingly saying that, hey, this guy is a minister. I looked at the other coworker and I looked at him, I said, oh, is that so? And he's with a little smirk on his face, you know, and I was just laughing. And then like a little bit of time passed by, and he goes ahead and pulls out like a piece of certificate that he had on his phone. Picture. It was a picture he had on his phone. He pulled out, and it was a certificate that he was certified minister. In one of these churches and whatever. But and he says, yeah, I can recite the Bible from. I know all the books from beginning to end. This Edomite, uh, he tried to do it, but he even fucked up. He's like, oh man, I used to do it, whatever, you know. But the Lord ain't dealing with these heathens, man. All right, and he recites the scriptures, like he knows all the books. He'll know that the Lord dwells not in temples made by man's hand. You know, or you're getting certified by a church that's full of idols and all types of BS. You know, and scripture calls the synagogue a Satan, man. You know, one, the Lord gave us only His word unto Israel, which I'm about to prove right now. And I wasn't gonna go there and go back and forth uh, with these guys and tell them that he's not a, I let him have it. This scripture came to mind in Psalms 147 and 19. It says, He showeth His word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. All right, and that's just it's plain and simple, man. You know, uh, the Lord ain't dealing with these heathens, man. You know, he considers these other heathens, these other nations, you know, as spittle, as spit. You know, yeah, this guy, uh, you know, uh, thinks he's a certified minister. You know, he ain't shit. He's a heathen. And a matter of fact, if he is exactly from the tribe of Esau, man, like, Edomite, you know, his ass is lower than shit. He has nothing to do with the word of the Lord, man. You know, at least you can use shit to fertilize, you know, the ground, but you can't use Esau. You know, worthless. You know, as a culture vulture. You know, just full of baloney. You know, let me get also Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 6. It says, "For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy power. The Lord Yahweh thy power had chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth." All right, come on, man, you can't make this up. All right, this is Deuteronomy chapter 4 and 8. It's like in 4 and 5. It says, "Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as Yahweh my power commanded me, that ye shall do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. For what nation is there so great, who hath the Most High so nigh unto them, as the Lord Yahweh our power is in all things that we call upon him for? And what nation is there so great that hath statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law which I set before you this day?" All right, hey man, this is what makes us a wise and understanding nation. And Esau knows that. Esau knows that. You know, that's why he can't. He loses sleep until he causes one to fall off. He got to make Jake fall off. You know, promoting violence. You know, promoting adultery, promoting idolatry, promoting all types of wickedness, man. Bestiality, pedophilia, and Jake fucking 2/3 indulging in all of it, man. You know, this is a wicked ass kingdom, man. Queendom. You know, the Lord ain't dealing with these heathens, man. All right, the Lord ain't dealing with these fucking damn heathens, man. You know, I just thought it was funny. You know, and it was funny because Buddy, Esau looked at us like he knew they like what the fuck, like he was embarrassed by it. Like what the fuck is he doing? Like you know. But hey, Jay, you know, when Jay popped his ass off, you know, his ass, Esau, you could just tell, you know, he was a little prideful, but yet, you could tell he was a little ashamed because he's a known alcoholic, you know, dude was a drinker, you know. But yeah, man, I just wanted to share that, you know, the Lord's only for Israel, Yasharala, you know, you're not dealing with with these heathen nations, man. So, low ones that find scripture today. Until next time, say shalom and a Bible ball.